Sammy Schilt is a fighter without fear. Sammy Schilt is one of the most successful kickboxers in history. Sammy started his journey in martial arts with Kyo-Kushin Karate, after which he moved to kickboxing. Here, he became a 4-time K1 champion. Schilt performed in the MMA, and here, the Dutch fighter did not achieve much success, but a few significant fights were still there. Let's get acquainted with the most significant of them. It was because of his impressive height, the Dutch champion was nicknamed Skyscraper. Sammy began his mixed martial arts career in Pancrase. Here, he made his first appearance in 1996. After 3.5 years, he won the championship title, defeating several notable opponents. After defending the title twice, he moved on to the UFC. Pancrase full-fledged mixed fight cannot be called a full-fledged mixed fight. Here, there were no punches to the head. Opponents hit with palms. An interesting fight took place in 1999 against Gilbert, who competed under the rings version. It was notable for the fact that each athlete competed under his own rules. This fight was presented as a battle of two different versions. Schilt used the Pancrase rules with his palms, while his opponent wore the hard MMA gloves, shin guards, which gave him the opportunity to pound his opponent with his powerful fists. Evel went forward from the first seconds of the fight. A powerful jumping punch shook his opponent, followed by a series of punches that knocked him down. In this fight, Schilt was constantly trying to get into a clinch, where he tried to attack with his knees. Palm strikes, according to Pancrase rules, had no visible effect. Gilbert's fist blows had the opposite effect. Each one of them imprinted into his opponent, whose right eye was soon covered in blood. The next knockdown followed a similar pattern. A series of arm punches stopped Sammy's attempt to get into the clinch. Schilt's next fall into the ring was the final knockdown. In this fight, the rules prevailed. Fist punches trumped palm strikes. Skyscraper fell victim to the rules version of Pancrase. This fight spurred Schilt on. Back in Pancrase, he won 5 fights, 4 of them by decision. After a series of victories, Schilt decided to try his luck again in a fight at ringside. His opponent was judo and wrestling master Yoshihisa Yamamato. This time, Schilt decided to go into the fight wearing gloves. The fight started with an exchange of low kicks. The two fighters were looking at each other. In the 3rd minute of the fight, Yoshihisa found himself on the ground. A series of knee arms sent him to the ground. The next fight took place again under ringside rules. Skyscraper's opponent was Bob Schrader, a very tough fighter. The fight began with an uncompromising exchange. A left hook to the jaw sent Sammy to the canvas. This was the most dangerous moment of the fight for Schilt. After that, he manages to take the lead. Long arms stopping his opponent's attack, followed by a knee to the head. This is roughly how the fight goes from here on out. Bob wasn't even helped by the head kick that he used to try and fend off his opponent. One of those knees to the head sent Schrader to the canvas. After the knockdown, Schrader went for a hard exchange. The opponents hit each other almost without thinking about defense. The start of the 2nd round brings Schilt the victory. He gives his opponent a guillotine in the stand-up after which he is forced to grab the ropes, which according to the rules of the version symbolizes surrender. After this win, Sammy became interested in the UFC. He gets an offer to perform at the UFC 31 tournament, which was held in Atlanta in 2001. This tournament was very spectacular, and it was after it that the UFC weight classes were finally formed. Sammy's opponent was Pete Williams. Pete quickly takes the fight to the floor with a body lock. Schilt defending in the guard, tightly gripping his opponent's hands, depriving him of the opportunity to attack. After a couple of minutes, Pete managed to break free, but the long arms of the Dutchman stopped all his attempts at effective action. At the beginning of the second round, Sammy delivers his signature combination: a left front kick and a jab, knockdown. After defending himself against the attack, Schilt uses an almost identical combination: a double jab, a left front kick, and a jab. This time, it was a knockout. The next significant fight took place a year later at the UFC 32 tournament, which became famous for being attended by the fashionable singer at the time, Carmen Electra. This time, it was Josh Barnett, who would soon become the UFC's youngest ever champion, who got in Skyscraper's way. Schilt starts the fight with a right mid-kick. Josh grabs the leg and moves his opponent to the floor, then very quickly finds himself on top of his opponent in a maneuver. Here he begins to shoot the Dutchman. To Schilt's credit, he managed to respond effectively a couple of times from an awkward position. By the end of the round, the faces of both contenders are covered in blood. Barnett wins the fight with some elbow leverage in the armbar, forcing his opponent to give up. Two years later, the rivals crossed paths again. This time, the fight lasted about 5 minutes. However, the result was the same as last time. Armbar from Barnett forces the Dutchman to give up. Notable was the fight at the Pride 21 tournament. It was Fedor Emelianenko's first fight under Pride rules after a successful performance in rings. Fedor begins to dominate from the first seconds of the fight. He takes his opponent to the floor, where he attacks with arm punches, alternating them with attempts to finish the job with a painful hold. The second and third rounds followed a similar pattern: parterre in the first seconds of the fight and an attempt to finish on the canvas. Schilt managed to avoid defeat by knockout, but the victory was unequivocally for Emelianenko. For the Dutchman, it was the first defeat in Pride after a series of 3 victories. The defeat closed his path to a title fight. The next significant fight took place at Pride 23 against Antonio Nogueira. Nogueira relied on taking his opponent to the floor. It wasn't that easy. The taller fighter was successfully defending against a pass to the legs. Even if he was able to do so, Sammy countered with arm punches and went straight back to the clinch. As further events showed, Sammy was not in vain afraid to enter the parterre with the jiu-jitsu master. After one of the successful patches, Antonio gives his opponent an armbar. Sammy pulls out his arm, but the Brazilian fighter manages to snap a triangle on his opponent's neck. Schilt had no choice but to give up. Second loss in a row, but his opponents were the best fighters of the era. The next Pride tournament in 2004 brought together some of the best heavyweights in mixed martial arts. Here, Skyscraper faced Giant Dan McGee, a very famous fighter who moved to Pride from the UFC. Giant apparently realized his opponent's weak spot and makes a successful pass to the legs in the opening seconds. On the floor, he saddled his opponent in a maneuver, after which he began to finish him with hammer fists. The Dutchman, although in an awkward position, was the first to bleed his opponent. And at the beginning of the 6th minute of the fight, Sammy wins on the opponent's field. After a failed attempt at a leg attack, the Giant gives up his arm. Skyscraper sees his chance and wins the fight with an armbar. Next in the series was a fight with Sergey Kharitonov. This fighter showed himself perfectly. In the previous fight, Schilt started the fight with 2 powerful jabs. After that, he throws his favorite left front kick. Sergey intercepts the jab, and the fight goes to the floor. Here, Kharitonov showed himself better than his opponent. He manages to mount him, followed by several minutes of methodical hammer fists. During this time, Schilt's face turned into a bloody mask. The referee stops the fight. This fight against Sergey was the last fight for Sammy, according to Pride. He decides to leave this version of mixed martial arts. In MMA, Schilt did not achieve significant results, but still, 26 wins, not a bad total. He has proven to be a fearless fighter, whose bouts are fun to watch. Be sure to leave a like, then subscribe to our channel. A lot of interesting and rare fights are waiting for you.